Hey there, welcome back. This is Professor Hank, and in this video I am going to show you the Python print function. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. We'll start off with a basic example, and then I'll show you how to print multiple items at once on the same line. Then I'll show you how to print multiple items on different lines. And then I'll show you how to use the sep and end arguments to give you a little bit finer control over the output of your program. Okay. Okay, so let me show you the basics behind using the print function. The print function is a function that's built into Python, and you can use it just by typing print. Okay, so you type print and then a couple parentheses, and then in between the parentheses you put what you want to have displayed on the screen, right? So that could be string literal, for example. So you could say, hi, right? And then, run the program. There's your output. But you could also print the contents of a variable, right? So maybe a equals 99. I could say print a, okay? So I can do that. And that's the basics of it for displaying something in one line. Now, if I want to display multiple items at once on the same line, then all I do is put multiple items inside those parentheses, separated by commas, right? So I could do something like this. I could say, your age is, and then I could put that second item in there. Let's go ahead and run that. You can see on the bottom line, your age is 99, right? Okay, so do that. And I can also print multiple items on different lines, okay? So I could do something like this. I could say print hi, print by, print psi, I don't know, right? And do that, and you're going to get one piece of output per print function, right? Or one line per print function. Okay, now we can change that, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. But first, let's look at this sep argument. Okay, and what sep does is it allows you to specify what the default separator is between arguments in the output, right? So if you take a look at this function called a print right here, right? If I say alpha, comma, beta, comma, echo, right? Okay, take a look at that and see what happens when we run that. Okay, so see at the very bottom line here, alpha, beta, echo. Look, there's spaces in between the words, right? But if you look at my string literals, I didn't type any spaces in here at all. So what happened? Well, the print function is going to put spaces in between the output by default. Okay, so if we don't want that to happen, then what we do is we add the sep argument here, right? We just say sep equals, and then we'll do an empty string literal, right? So no spaces in there, just two back-to-back quotes. Okay, so now when I run that, what happens? Right? So you can see that last line, no spaces in between the words anymore. This can be really useful if, for example, you wanted to have a label formatted in a certain way. So, for example, maybe you want to do something like this where you've got a variable where you have the cost of something. Maybe it's $19.95, and you want to say, your price is, right? And then you have your second argument, right? So without doing sep, right? Let's put a dollar in here, dollar sign in here. Without putting sep in there, look at the output, right? See how that space appears in between the dollar sign and the one? You might not want that. So what you can do is you can just add another argument here, and you can say, well, sep equals nothing, right? And so that changes the separator to nothing, and so now that space isn't there automatically anymore. Right, but you're not just limited to doing that. I mean, you can specify separators that are whatever combination of characters that you want, right? So I could do a string, another string literal as the separator. So I could say something like doggy, right? So if I do that, then if you take a look at the output, right, in between the two arguments, that doggy was put in there. That's the new separator, okay? So you're not just limited to having strings in there, you could also have a variable, right? So, so maybe I could do something like this. Okay, have as my delimiter, I'll have what's going to separate my arguments be this word space, right? But instead of writing it right there, attached directly to the sep argument, I'll put it in a variable instead, right? So now if I go ahead and run it, you can see there's the separator. Okay, so that's how sep works. Now let me show you end here. Now with end, okay, it's going to impact what happens when we try to print multiple things together, right? So let's take a look what happens when we run the print function these 3 times, right? That block right there, what's going to be the output. Going to see those 3 lines, one right after the other, that's fine. Okay, and the reason for that is because the print function at the end, after it's printed the last argument to the screen, automatically prints new line character, which moves the cursor to the next line, so the next print function starts on the next line, etc., right? But we don't have to do that. We can change that character just like we can with sep, and it works the same way. It's just controlling the very last character printed on the line. So that argument is end, so I can say end equals something else, maybe nothing, right? So if I do end equals nothing, then, right, at least this is just a string with nothing inside of it. Then if I run this, oops, made a typo. Then if I run this, take a look at that last line, right? So the print function didn't cause the cursor to move the next line each time because I changed the default for the last character that gets printed from new line to nothing. But just like with sep, you could put in here whatever you want, and that's what will get added to the end of the line, or what would have been to the end of the line, right? So if I run this, right, so everything ends up on one line. Why? Because instead of printing the new line character after the I, it prints at, right? Same thing with the E, same thing with the Y, okay? So that's what end does, that's what sep does, that's how we can print multiple items on different lines, that's how we can print multiple items at once on the same line, and it's how we can just display stuff in general, right? So I showed you how to do that, also showed you how to print literals to the screen and also variables. Okay, so that's going to bring this video to a close. If you felt that the video was useful, please consider giving the video a thumbs up, and if you thought that the video sucked, well, then you've got that thumbs down button as an option as well. If you'd like to see more videos, if you're interested in more content from the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And as usual, if you're a student of mine and you have further questions, feel free to drop me an email or to stop by my office hours. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.